All right, folks. The time is finally upon us. New World's gonna grace us with this new update tomorrow at 8 p.m. I hope you guys are excited because I am excited. I am going to find the lowest pop server I can so I can have every single fishing hotspot to myself. I still don't have work for like 2 more weeks, so I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to be the first one selling those 600 gear score patterns, and I'm going to make some money. Sorry, that was kind of cringe. So, hey, how about we read the patch notes? So we'll be holding downtime tomorrow, 8 a.m. So for me, that is 8 a.m. It's going to be 5 a.m. for you West Coast guys and girls. So it's going to be about 2 hours. I always say it. They're pretty good with that. So it should actually be about 2 hours. And let's check out the notes. And this will all be in the description. Now, bear with me. Now I'm going to start doing these patch notes 2 different ways. It's going to take me more time, but it's going to be a lot better for you guys because, some of you really like every single thing read. So you can listen to it on your way home to work or way home from work, stuff like that. Listen to it on your lunch. And some of you guys probably just want to get, the main information. What are the big things that are happening? We don't really care about, this mob's name being changed and fixed and, stuff like that. So first, I'm going to do the full thing. So, sit back, relax, go grab a beer or an O'Doul's non-alcoholic, and we'll get these notes done. So we're going to go ahead and start. So, celebrate the Summer Medley Fair with fishing and musical events throughout Aeternum. Summer villages have been erected in Brightwood, Everfall, Weaver's Fen, and Monarch's Bluffs. Raise your reputation with the Maestro through quests like catching the famed Aeternum Sturgeon to net special seasonal rewards, and you can even frame your favorite catches for your home at new Mount-a-Cat stations found in every village. If you guys want to see what that's like, check out my video. It's really, really cool, and if that was the only thing they added in the game, I'd still be happy because they're that freaking cool and they look that good. Musical instruments. So musical instruments are a new trade skill that make the world your stage. There are 5 instruments to pick up and learn, plus an initial 31 songs to collect and master. You can also play solo or as a group with up to 5 adventurers. And these musical instruments include guitar, mandolin, upright bass, drums, and the Azoth flute. The Azoth flute's a weird one. The songs are terrible. Not gonna lie. Sorry, Amazon. Everything else, bad ass. Flute, meh. Anyway, songs are unlocked by salvaging pages hidden throughout Aeternum. You can get a fishing song by fishing. It's like a 2-page song, so those are really easy to get, just a FYI. Complete the Summer Medley Fair quest to earn a special set of pages and starter instruments. Better instruments can be crafted through the Furnishing trade skill. Furnishing can also roll new music trade skill specific perks. Press the F5 key to initiate a performance. Each show will reward players with trade skill XP and various buffs. Better performances receive stronger buffs and more trade skill XP. Spectators enjoying the show will also receive a buff if they toss a coin to the performers as a tip. More buffs unlock as your trade skill XP increases. The buffs in order of progression are decidedly dexterous. Gathering speed increases by 75% for 30 to 90 minutes. Territorial Triumph, territory standing bonus increased by 10% to 30% for 30 to 9 minutes. Altogether now, group character XP sharing bonus increases by 4% to 15 for 30 to 90. Song in Your Step, reduce player encumbrance by 200 to 1,000 for 30 to 90 minutes. That's a really cool, and all these last 3 are really cool. Fortune's Favor, gathering yield increases by 3 to 10% for 30 to 90 minutes. And Luck's Labor, gathering luck increases by 2 to 5% for 30 to 90 minutes. So pretty cool stuff. Barnacles and Black Powder. So this is a new dungeon. A dark tide rises in Aeternum with the arrival of Admiral Black Powder and his dastardly crew. Quest givers in the Cutlass Key settlement and the new docks on the territory's eastern shore will be looking to offer you loot and renown for defeating the despicable evil within the new Barnacles and Black Powder Expedition, unlocking 1 week after the release of this update. Rumors suggest there might be an even greater power within the Admiral's hold, not to mention more than meets the eye. So Expedition Mutators, Barnacles and Black Powder will be mutated 2 weeks after its release. 3 new mutations will also join the mutation rotation. Icebound, so that features mutations that deal ice damage, apply slow, and spawn glacial crystals with area effects. Oppressive, enemies gain powerful abilities like mana drains and zones of silence, which prevent ability usage for a short period of time. And Frenzied, this variant applies curses to players that dodge. Curses stack up and deal damage over time. When Frenzied reaches 3 stacks, it detonates. This explosion deals additional damage to the player and leaves an elemental damage area of effect. Expedition enhancements. So new quality of life features have been introduced to alleviate some points of friction for our expedition explorers. So we now have the Expedition Group Finder. If you guys want to see what that looks like, take a look at my video. Pretty basic, right to the point, and it's really nice. So finding a group to run expeditions with while solo isn't always easy when you need to ask through chat. So we are excited to release our first version of the Group Finder tool for expeditions. With this feature, you'll be able to access a specific group finder for each expedition, access through Expedition Entrance UI, or the expedition map icon, so you can be anywhere and access this. Really, really cool. Browse listings created by other players or post your own requests to join other players on your server. The tool allows players to declare their preferred team roles, such as DPS, tank, or heals, and recruit based on those roles. You can also set recruiting requirements like minimum gear score, level, and then you can even inspect members to learn their average gear score, what weapons they're using, and what mastery levels. And this feature will release alongside the new Barnacles and Black Powder Expedition. Expedition tuning orb removal. I know you guys are all excited about that, and it is pretty nice, you know. And don't worry, stone cutting will still be worth, and we'll, you know, talk about that later. But we've removed expedition tuning orbs, and we replaced them with daily limits for normal weekly mutated expedition runs to make all expeditions easier to access. Players can participate in 15 normal expeditions per player per day, or 105 per week per player, or 25 mutated expedition runs per week. Somebody told me that, oh, they're going to be doing 50 mutated expeditions per week. I'm like, you know what? Show me a post. I don't put anything in my videos until I see an official post, and it looks like that's not true. So 25 per week, at least. In order to honor the value you've put into acquiring existing tuning orbs, any orbs in your inventory upon the update will be replaced with caches that give loot appropriate for the expedition. While you won't get a full run's worth of coin and drops, the rolls will include boss drops for weapons and armor in addition to opportunities for expertise bumps. For normal expeditions, caches will reward a roll from the sub-boss and main boss found in that specific expedition and grant coin equal to 50% the cost previously associated with buying that specific type of orb from the faction shop. And for mutated expeditions, caches will reward 4 boss rolls off the final boss of 4 eligible mutators and coin equal to 50% the cost of previously associated with buying that specific type of orb from the faction shop. And I've also got a bunch of videos on that, guys. So if you want to see what these look like, what kind of drops they give you, how much gold, you know, etc., check out my mutator, you know, armament cache videos. I even do some on the low-level dungeons as well, so you can check that out. Plus, I do Laz, Genesis, Tempest, you know, all that good stuff. So loot rebalance. So with the accessibility changes to expeditions, we've moved roughly 50% of the coin generated from expedition bosses and instead spread it out to coin drops from elite chests and darkness breaches completion bonuses to help compensate for the reduction. Twice a day, players can loot elite chests in the open world or complete minor or major darkness breaches to earn a bag of coins. Each bag contains 500 coins. And I just realized, twice a day? Players can loot elite chests in the open world? What? I don't remember saying that. But cool. That's pretty badass. Along with that, we have introduced a new method to help the player overcome the randomness of expedition loot. So materia, and this is a big one, guys and girls. This is a big one. So materia is a new type of resource that can be used to craft your desired drop. There are 2 ways to obtain this resource. Any named item obtained from an expedition can now be salvaged into materia of its corresponding expedition type, in addition to receiving materia when defeating the main boss of an expedition. So that also, there's a video out there. So there's videos on everything. I made so many videos since I've been off of work. Pretty soon I'm just going to be doing this full time. I can't wait. So please support the channel if you guys are interested in this stuff and you like what I have to offer. Then that would be freaking awesome, and I will love you big time. Big time, bro. Big time, bro. Mutator loot shift. So we've shifted the difficulty levels at which loot will unlock. The system was originally intended to give players a sense of rewarding progression as they play through the different difficulty levels, but lower levels didn't feel particularly good due to sparse rewards. So we've therefore changed what items unlock at which difficulty level, which should result in a wider variety of lower level rewards. And in addition, we've also added another accessory to each mutator. So previously, each mutator dropped 2 of the 3 types of accessories, but now every mutator can drop all available types. So amulets, rings, and watches. No, I'm just kidding. Earrings. So Instance Wars, and Ayaz actually, oh my gosh, I forgot to post that. I have the war that we went in against the devs, so it's pretty cool. So check that out. I'll be posting that later. But hello, Instance Wars. So previously, while 1 or more wars were ongoing, server performance could become degraded. And why they didn't have this before, I don't know, but hey, it's good. This could result in latency spikes for players in the war and surrounding areas. So we have rebuilt the underlying technology to improve performance. And folks, I was in the war, it was instanced, and it did seem much better. I'm not gonna lie, it seemed much better. And with my new 6700 XT, it should be even better. This was when I was running my 2060 Super. Good video card, but man, it was, you know, when I had the graphics at very high, it wasn't always the smoothest. So we got loot, perks, and trade skills. So perk rebalance. After examining the meta and its use issues regarding endgame viability, we've adjusted over 150 perks to help make them more useful and competitive compared to some of the best perks in the game. So skill-specific weapon perks are now more powerful, with some receiving substantial reworks, like Explosive Arrow. We've also tweaked how perks are calculated to provide players with more options for better perk combinations. For example, the trade skill drop chance on earrings now has a very low chance on drops to increase the combat focused perks players get from earrings. These perks can still be controlled via crafting, using their specific craft mods to make specific items. Now folks, I just want to say one thing. I've spent so much time crafting on the PTR, you have no idea. Well, maybe you do. And I can tell you this. Whatever earrings that you have that are bind on equipped that have a either mining or, you know, jewel crafting or armoring, you know, all those things, the amulets and the earrings for crafting. The amulets have the adored, you know, like mining luck and that stuff, and the earrings have the armor mastery, right? All those are going to be extremely rare. The only way you're going to be able to get those is by using the craft mods like they just said here. So when they say that the chance on earrings now has a very low chance, it's like Raffle Bones. It's not a very low chance to see Raffle Bones. He gone. That dude is gone. And so are these crafting perks. I'm telling you, I've crafted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of earrings. Not once did I see anything. And same with amulets. Not once have I seen a logging luck. Not once have I seen an earring with arm. Everybody on the PTR was asking for, you know, does anybody have an armor's craft mod and stuff like that, because they are so incredibly rare. You're never going to see them again. So if you have them, I would probably hold on to them. And, you know, actually, as soon as this video is done, I'm going to buy a bunch of those craft mods because, you know, I don't know how that's going to work. Everybody already has those earrings. Nobody needs them. But I guess for new players, they might fetch a good price. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But they're gone, just like Raffle Bones. So, loot quality. The overall quality of drops have been improved based on player and expertise level. So this means at level 60, players should earn more epic and rare loot instead of uncommon loot. Epic and legendary loot also have a higher chance of receiving more viable stat combinations. So like increased chances for Keen, lower chances for Beastbane. Perks that roll are still random for non-named items, but players should see better combination of perks overall. And I have seen this, you guys, in the, oh geez, I'm so sorry. The molds, the cast, the gypsum cast, much better stat combinations. So we've also improved the chances that higher gear score items can drop from lower level creatures, given a small chance of 600 gear score items that can come from like 59 plus. So that's pretty cool. Bonus loot drops. So we feel that loot obtained from gypsum cast was, oh, here we go, not very rewarding. So we've improved the likelihood of epic and rare loot rolls. We've also reworked the range at which expertise can be gained off of these rolls. So the potential bump range to expertise has been increased for all gear score expertise levels between 5 and 600. In addition, lower expertise levels now have a higher range of potential expertise bump to gear. Perfect salvage, and I have a video on these gypsum casts, so check it out if you want to see what they're talking about before the update tomorrow. And also, I have a video on the perfect salvage, so check that out. It's really, really cool. This is probably one of the coolest things they've added. So we've made salvaging more rewarding through the introduction of perfect salvages. Whenever players salvage items, they will now have a chance to perform a perfect salvage, which can reward them with research materials such as weapon scraps that can be used to gain crafting trade skill experience, special orbs that can be converted into gypsum casts that bypass the normal daily limit, materials to fabricate special items, and other valuable resources. And folks, they are not kidding. It is really, really nice. So trade skill changes have been, there's been some trade skills have been updated to reduce friction and speed up leveling for many gathering, refining, and crafting trade skills. So with gathering, they reduced the logging XP required to level from 1 to 50 by 15%, reduced the logging XP required to level from 51 to 200 by 20%, fishing XP required to level from 1 to 200 by 50%. So fishing is going to be way easier. I cannot wait. And so worth, by the way. And they also reworked the experience curve off the first 26 levels of fishing. Refining, so they removed tiers from reagents. So now the tannins, fluxes, sandpapers, weaves, and solvents, with the goal of simplifying these into a single tier, giving potency of tier 5 reagents to help players progress trade skills more efficiently and reduce friction of converting. So they reduced leatherworking XP required, smelting, weaving, woodworking, and stone cutting. They all the experience has been reduced, the required experience. So, you know, to get from 1 to 200, some of them have been reduced by 10%, all the way up to 20%, as you can see here. So leatherworking, 10%, reduced smelting XP required to level from 1 to 200 by 10%, weaving, 15%, woodworking, 15%, and stone cutting, 20%. So stone cutting got a big buff. Crafting, so they improved the trade skill XP on tier 4 and 5 crafted items for all skills. They also reduced furnishing XP required to level from 1 to 200 by 20%, so big buff on furnishing. And they also reduced the trade skill XP required for weaponsmithing and furnishing levels for levels 1 to 200. Crafting, gathering, and refining clothing, we've replaced the drop chance, or we've rebalanced the drop chance and locations of all trade skill clothing to better improve their availability. And folks, they also added patterns in all the aptitude chests. I forgot to mention that. That's a huge change. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. World experience, notable fixes. They fixed an issue that prevented players from cleansing the swamp beast using the glowing totems in the arena. Players can no longer place camps in a way that would cause them to respawn into the world. Players will no longer be instantly killed in the Siren King trial after other players die. Fix a number of issues that cause server and client crashes. Fix an issue that caused players to stop moving if they ran into a loot bag while their inventory was open. Fix a bug that caused players to incorrectly spawn into the world while dead. Fix an occasional startup crash that would occur after a game update. Adjusted a rogue cliff that was placed in the middle of a cave. It will no longer prevent player progress. Improved terrain texture loading that led to blurry or muddy looking spots on the ground. Fix an issue that caused login errors when the client system clock was off by several hours. Fix a bug that caused players to get stuck in the wrong fishing states. Fix a bug that causes the UI to disappear if you join an instanced activity or use the unstuck function while a fishing rod was equipped. Fix an issue that caused a player's camp respawn point from a previous play session to show up on the respawn screen even when unavailable. Fix an issue that caused individual bags to appear instead of a single bag when a player dropped multiple items simultaneously. I'm a very good reader. Thank you. Exploration. Fix an issue that caused some fishing hotspots to not appear on the map after discovery. Fix an issue that caused several hotspots on Rutless Shores to not give the correct amount of resources. Moved a few misaligned fishing locations to actual water. Fix an issue that caused world textures to appear black for some players. Fix an issue with dynamic resolution scaling where in situations in heavy smoke or faint shadow silhouette could become visible. The following named enemies have been updated to level 63 so that they have the potential to grant 600 gear score drop rewards for players. So this is a big one. So lots of these named enemies, like they said, are now 63. So we can get much better drops from them. That's Bane's Kale and a Georgian in Eden Grove, Unhallowed Soul of Mirkgard and Old Mirkgard Forest, High Priest Osagura and Nilo Visage, Articulon the Unshackled and Mosril the Herald and Balebane Ma, Caminus Gatelord and Overseer Levy and Caminus, Sai Wang the Immovable and Dushen the Unstoppable, Daoshen and Spilial Cavern, Corrupted Excubator Luca and East Alerman, and Pitlord Dahi and Westerlerman, Meyerpaw and the Congregation, the Blightbringer and Lambent Muskeg, Smoothbore Samuel and Maria's Rest, Thorn of the Heartwood and Ska Makogai, and Nasher and Serenity Monastery, and finally Ivan the Inevitable, Mordecai the Mortician, Slayer Rosalind, and Farley and Skysong Crypt. All these have been updated to level 63, so they have the potential to grant 600 gear score drops, so pretty sweet. Fix an issue that caused Thorpe to make a surprise appearance in the cathedral outside Tempest Heart. Fix an issue that caused the Skysong Shrine POI and Ebon Scale Reach to be undiscoverable. Adjusted the placement of the Recipe for Disaster lore note to make it more visible. Adjusted distribution of Black Bears in Greyvale and Brightwood to alleviate difficulty in exploring that area. Fix Bison AI getting stuck in a shack in Reekwater. That's one of those things which I don't want to fix because it's actually hilarious. Fix floating AI Pistoliers on Restless Shores. Fix an issue that caused AI to be pushed into Geometry and Sorcerer's Delve. Fixing an issue that caused players to burn Incanimus despite not touching the molten material. Fix pixelation on water inside the Shattered Obelisk POI, and Simon's Gray's footsteps can now be heard again at the end of Amrein's excavation. So expeditions, expedition tuning orb and crafting materials. So expedition tuning orbs and their crafting materials are no longer obtainable except for breach fragments. We want to keep the different tiers of breach fragment items from breaches for use in crafting. Starting with territory supplies detailed under economy that can be crafted at the stone cutting station. Basically, you're going to be able to get territory standing by, getting those corrupted shards and fragments and all that stuff. And there's different tiers of it too. And I guess I haven't tested this, I should have, but you're going, depending on what territory you're currently in, if you open one of those after you craft it, you're going to get territory standing for that territory that you're currently in. As far as I know, that's how that works. Expedition tuning orbs have been replaced with armament chests, so we've already kind of been over that, but normal expedition armaments provide loot rolls on each of the potential bosses from its respective expedition. Now, here's an important part. So if you have any mutated expedition orbs, those armaments, like you can see in my video, they provide loot rolls on each of the final bosses for each expedition that can be mutated at mutated level 7. So you're not going to get any rolls from an M8, an M9, or an M10. And again, Kitty Jazz Cat, she was asking me if Isabella's Gaze can drop from those tuning orb armament caches, because that's a really cool piece. It looks awesome. And I don't think so. I've opened over 300 of these mutated orb armament caches, and I've never seen a single one. And also, if you guys are wondering, well, what can, she also asked, well, can you craft it? Because it's a named item. Can you craft it with materia? And the answer to that is, I don't think so, because I don't know if that's, it's not on the list to be crafted. And on my video, the materia video that I made, I put a screenshot, in a Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheets, that showed you every single recipe you can craft with materia, and it is not in it. So as of right now, Cat, sorry. Mutated expedition armaments provide 1,250 umbral shards of pop. So that's a bunch. If you have a bunch of mutated orbs sitting around, you're going to get a bunch of umbral shards, 1,250 per orb. All armaments will provide coin equal to roughly 50% of the equivalent coin cost to purchase expedition tuning orbs from the faction shop, so they're going to give us about half of our money back. The following expedition tuning orb crafting materials no longer exist and will be converted into different types of breach fragments. So if you have any Gen, Laz, or Tempest cores, they're going to be converted into corrupted fragments. Undying Hearts, Earth Totems, Corrupted Runes, Molten Runes, all that stuff. Glowing Spores, they're going to be turned into Corrupted Slivers. And Blight Seeds, I have a crap ton of those. They're going to be turned into Corrupted Splinters. So this is the only way to obtain Splinters that convert into Slivers. So removed item durability loss in expeditions. We've decided, with the changes to gold rewards and the removal of tuning orbs, it made sense to remove item durability costs and make expeditions consistent with other game modes. So when you're dying over and over to Scylla because it's your first time, you don't have to use your whole bank to repair. Those were fun days, weren't they, Sirius Mercury? Those were so much fun, man. Remember the first time we did Scylla with all stacks, 25 stacks the entire fight. And then me and my man Wheezy, we did it on mutated 10 Scylla with 25 stacks, no orbs. What a great tank. He's just a pain in the ass. Coin reward changes. With the accessibility changes to expeditions, we've moved roughly 50% of coin generated from expedition bosses and have instead spread it out to coin drops from elite chests and darkness breach completion bonuses to help compensate for the reduction. So reduced coin given from bosses and expeditions by 50%. Added lost sack of coins to darkness breaches and elite chests. Each lost stack grants 500 coins, so that's pretty cool. Players can obtain a maximum of 2 lost sacks daily, regardless of their source. So that's 1,000 gold a day. And minor darkness breaches have a 10% chance to drop in the lost sack, and major darkness breaches sack have a 100% chance of dropping a lost sack upon completion, and elite chests have a 35% chance of containing a lost sack. So that's a lot of sacks. General, so the depths, they fixed a lighting issue that caused the water to sometimes flicker, fixed a collision gap at the entrance that allowed players to get out of bounds. Dynasty, they blocked an area that was not intended to be climbable, fixed an issue that caused the loot from Oro and Joven to become unreachable in the arena cages. Genesis, they closed off access to a ledge before the Alluvium Marl fight. Laz, they cleaned up the collision on Scylla's boss arena, and they adjusted the collision around the broken bridge on Scylla's arena. And they also fixed an issue that caused the status Arcane Rend to persist after the Scylla fight. Tempest Heart, they finessed and added missing collision throughout Tempest Heart. So when you're using charge or when you're running up those walkways, you don't get stuck for 5 seconds. That was hilarious and pain. Fixed the collision gap in Nishatune's area that caused players to perform a heroic hop movement. Removed access to a ledge in the Nishatune arena that would sometimes allow players to avoid ranged attacks. Fixed an issue that caused the status effect Corrupted Soul to persist after Nishatune was defeated. Updated name display icon for Corrupted Naga to Corrupted Nishatune, and fixed an issue that caused Nishatune's mesh to flicker if players were extremely close to him. Improved the Heretic's visual dialogue, and fixed an issue that caused the Isabella cinematic to skip in some circumstances. Mutators, they fixed an issue that caused some expedition bosses to give less gold to mutators. Fixed difficulty levels at which loot unlocks has been adjusted. Fixed a frenzied mutator status effect that showed a debug string. Fixed an issue that caused a toxic mutation to not track the player. Fix an issue that caused a toxic effect to show incorrect values in the overgrown mutation tooltip. Fix an issue that caused some status effects to not remove when exiting the expedition. Fix an issue that caused overcharge to activate when the player had less than 3 stacks applied and they expired. Fix an issue that caused orbs to no longer appear for unstable overcharge after player was down or revived. Reduce the base stamina damage reduction applied to some AI in expeditions from 50% to 25%. Reduced value of Shattering 1 effects from 75 to 40, 10% net reduction. Reduced value of Shattering 2 effects from 125 to 75, a 25% net reduction. Both Shattering 1 and 2 remove the base stamina damage reduction applied to enemies in expeditions and also increase stamina damage output. Updated the tooltip for Desiccated Curse, Combustible, and Shriveled, which show inaccurate values and did not have the correct effect icons. Updated the VFX for the unstable and overcharged mutators. Fixed an issue that caused attacks from spawned enemies to not scale properly when undergeared in a mutator 10. Fixed an issue that resulted in the glacial mutator effect to be stuck on a player if they exited and re-entered the slow AoE, and Shiver now shows on nameplates and delivers damage. So some quests, they added clarification for the arena introduction quest, fixed several typos and grammatical errors found within lore notes and quest text, incomplete text for the relic reclamation quest. Note will now reference part of the final line, reminding players of the direction of the quest. Increase the drop rates for the Song of the Sea quest in Morningdale. Increase the size of the trigger volume used to get the shipwreck for the Sea Dreams quest. This should now include the location of the chest, making it easier to progress. Made it easier for players to get kill contribution for Joan the Faithless. Made it so the gifted agents for the Shrouded armor set cannot be dropped. Made it so transference for enhancing the protective weird armor sets cannot be dropped. Made it so that the sparks for enhancing the battles and brace armor sets cannot be dropped. Set all quests in the last argument weapon quest arc to allow reset instead of abandon. This should prevent players from getting stuck due to quest abandonment and brings this weapon quest line into parity with existing weapon quest lines. Fix an issue that caused quests to be incorrectly labeled as crafting type within the objectives view of the map. Updated the Mother Ocean quest pin to reflect the location of the ghosts of Billiam's old crew, since they have moved to a slightly different island and no longer lurk directly next to the ship. Fixed Warden Scout Titus lip sync in the quest Into the Depths, and quest marker for Morning Grizzly trophy hunt mission has been adjusted to more accurately reflect the location of the Morning Grizzly. Morning as in sad, not morning as in good morning, Grizzly. AI updates. General AI updates fix an issue that caused certain attacks to trigger the paranoia effect on the attacking AI upon block. World AI, they fix an issue that caused Spew Spitter and potentially other AI characters to spawn inside walls. Fixed a rare issue that caused a Spriggan to become unresponsive. Fix an issue that caused Corrupted Hounds to not play their stun animation. Fix an issue that caused Dryad Shaman's Rolling Vine spell to not fully reach the player. Reduce pushback and reaction on Dryad Shaman's overhead staff swipe and projectile attacks. Fix an issue that caused Shackled Wraith's stun status effect to not be removed after subsequent hits. Fix an issue that caused Varangian Knight enemies to not properly play directional death animations. Fix the attack types of 2 grenades thrown by the Undead Grenadier, changing them from light and heavy to magic, which now allows Rhyme to proc. Updated the damage type of Disease Grenade from Strike to Nature, reduced the damage area for Corruption Tendril's range burrow attack, and added a warning telegraph for the incoming damage. Increase the buffer distance for AI to target players outside of the AI's navigable areas, therefore allowing the AI to more reliably attack players on the edges and corners of terrain. Fix an issue that caused the Varangian Scout's double swing to not damage the player, and reduce the difficulty of Ghost-type monsters with the following global changes. So they reduce the damage of overhead swipe attacks with Ghost, and remove Stagger and Grit from both overhead swipes and lunge attacks. So Expedition AI. So they fixed an issue that caused Timeless Shards to not drop from all Expedition bosses. So Timeless Shards should now drop from all endgame Expedition bosses, including Mutators. So Starstone, they fixed an issue that caused skeletons to spawn outside of the Grungul arena. In the Depths, they fixed an issue where the carapace blocking the teleporter was not able to take damage from status effects and some AoEs, and fixed an issue that caused Thorpe and Restless Shores to not apply appropriate distance scaling to his pull-in ability. For Dynasty, they fixed an issue that reset the AI after players climbed onto cliffs in the Eastern Pier area. Fix an issue that caused Isabella to fire her pistol in random directions. She now always fires at a player. The Dynasty Maiden's Dragon Dive attack no longer adjusts aim after the tell and instead flies straight out from the Maiden. So it should make it a little bit easier now. And they added a team wipe ability to Joven and Oro to finish groups that have all fallen to death's door. Genesis fixed an exploit that caused certain AI to retreat in an unintended way. And Greenskeeper will no longer target down players prior to starting their attack sequence. For Lazarus, Chartis's Rolling Hands is now unblockable. Fix an issue that caused Scylla to wipe a party prematurely, and fix an issue that caused certain AI to retreat in an unintended way. For Tempest, they fixed an issue that caused Nishatun to spawn a Corruption Core just before his phase transition. Fix an issue that caused some enemies to auto-cull after the Destroy Monolith encounter. Isabella will no longer stick to players that block her with their body, and fix an issue that caused Isabella to stop attacking and become unresponsive. Mutated AI. So Isabella's cannons should now correctly mutate when playing mutated expeditions, and they also fix an issue that caused some enemies to not gain elemental modifiers from mutators. So lots of combat changes, and I'm going to save the weapon updates for the next video. So this isn't an hour-long video, but I am going to go through everything. So if you want to see the weapon changes specifically, tune in for the next video. But for now, we're going to keep going with these combat changes, and then we're going to end the video. So health and damage display. So adjusted healing flyout numbers to no longer be limited to if the healing is greater than 5% of your HP. They are now manually set based on what is preferred for each heal. They set all persistent healing status effects that are either small ticks of healing or inactive healing to not show healing number flyouts. Health display will no longer show 0 if the player is still alive. Increase the number of decimal places shown in a weapon's critical damage multiplier tooltip so that the Fire Staff and Blunderbuss can now display their correct multipliers. It previously showed 1.2, but it was actually 1 1/4. So attribute bonuses. They reduce the stamina damage increase from the 150 strength attribute bonus from 50% to 25%. So they cut that in half. Also limited the attribute bonus to only apply to light attacks. They also updated the 200 Constitution attribute bonus to also increase elemental armor by 10%. So it now increases physical and elemental armor by 10%, and that is a pretty big change. So that's really, really great. And then they updated the tooltip for the 250 Dex bonus to indicate that it only triggers on random critical hits. So as far as mana, stamina, and revives, they removed the 1 second mana regeneration delay that triggers when mana is consumed. They updated it so stamina regen does not occur while jumping. Updated it so stamina regen is not stopped while rolling after landing from a jump. And they made several updates to the revive animation. It does not apply to reviving a down player inside of a duel. And here's a big one, folks. So you know that really annoying thing where you're downed and somebody goes to res you, and right when they res you, boom, something hits and you're dead before you can even move or dodge out of the way. Well, they added invulnerability frames. And if you don't know what that is a iframe, and that's what everybody always calls iframes. So they've added an iframe when a player is standing up after being revived to help prevent them from being killed before they have control of their character. So that is great. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I imagine it's going to be long enough for you to hit, dodge and get out of harm's way. So pretty cool. They also fixed an issue that caused the cancel window to not function properly and keep players in the animation longer than intended. They also reduced the recovery cancel window from 45 frames to 30 frames. Previously, this did not function properly and would only allow a player to transition out after the animation was complete at around 50 to 60 frames. And then some notable bug fixes, and then we're all done with this one. And as far as the weapon updates goes, guys, there have been a lot of changes. They have had 6 PTR patches, 6 of them, and pretty much all of them, I'm pretty sure, had some balance changes. So you are going to want to listen to the weapon updates because there's been a lot of changes over the period of the time the PTR has been up. So they fixed an issue that caused ability cooldowns to be tracked by hotkey slots instead of the ability itself. Fixed an issue that caused projectiles to sometimes land behind the player. Fixed an issue that caused players to get permanently stuck in cooldowns for Berserk or Ice Pylon after they performed a respec on the applicable trees with either ability active. Activating these 2 abilities will now trigger the combat state to prevent respecs. Fixed an issue that caused various abilities that spawned an entity, like the Ice Pylon, to not scale gem perks and other status effects damage properly when the entity triggered said damage. They fixed an issue that caused stuns to not remove after taking hits from various players' attacks like Flamethrower, Wind Chill, etc. Fixed an issue that caused desyncs after a player got stunned. Fixed an issue that caused luck bonuses from inactive weapons to trigger. Fixed a rare issue that caused magic spell effects to jump on the ground. Fixed an issue that caused an additional delay before reloading when a player stood in place after dodging while a reload was pending for the musket and blunderbuss. I love how they have these 100-word, fixes. It's just like, what? Fix an issue that caused an additional delay before reloading when a player stood in place after dodging while reload was pending. Like, that's a lot of actions for the musket and blunderbuss. Fix an issue that caused the incorrect weapon run animation when transitioning from prone to stand while moving forward. Fix an issue that caused combat animations to play when performing gathering actions. And finally, fix an issue that caused players to get stuck in a jump animation when jumping backward diagonally. So that is it for the for these changes, and then we've got some weapon updates, and I'm assuming, some perk changes. So there's a lot of stuff to keep going on, and if you want to listen to the whole thing, tune in for the next video. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this one because the main thing is, we're getting our update tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys hopefully in a low pop server, and I'm just going to be chilling and fishing and drinking beer. So maybe some of you guys can join me. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys all have a great day. Let's go.